Meghan is hardly innocent. She's down in the dirt with me, whether she likes it or not. You need to know that the story you're about to hear is not in any way gentle. Prince Andrew is speaking and Meghan is reportedly panicking. Prince Andrew's downfall wasn't small. It wasn't private. It wasn't gentle. It was global. His close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and the serious allegations involving Virginia Roberts crushed his public standing overnight. Titles were stripped, doors were closed, his royal future was erased in plain sight. The world saw it. The press reported it. The palace acted on it. But here's the strange part. If Andrew was destroyed because of Epstein, why has there been complete silence about Meghan Markle's alleged connection to the same world? It doesn't make sense. Same circle, same timeline, same social orbit, yet two completely different outcomes. One royal punished, one protected. No headlines, no pressure, no investigation, nothing. It's like someone placed a wall of silence around Meghan's history, like certain topics were locked away on purpose. And that silence is exactly what makes this story so explosive, because silence doesn't mean innocence. Silence means someone doesn't want the truth discussed. And that leads us to the next shocking layer, one that changes how we view Meghan's history entirely. Before Harry, before the wedding, before the headlines, sources claim Meghan had a not-so-secret personal relationship with Prince Andrew. Not a distant acquaintance, not a casual hello at an event, a close connection. According to those familiar with the situation, Andrew allegedly confided to friends that he knew Meghan long before she became a duchess, and that their relationship was far more personal than anyone was ever told publicly. This is the part no one talks about, because if Meghan and Andrew had a real direct relationship in the past, then she wasn't entering the royal world as an outsider. She was already connected, and that changes everything. It raises questions the palace never answered. How did they meet? How close were they? Why was this never acknowledged? And most importantly, why was this information hidden when Andrew's scandal came crashing down? If Andrew fell because of his associations and Meghan was allegedly part of that same circle, why did only one of them take the hit? Was someone protecting her? Was the palace afraid of something bigger? Or was Meghan's history considered too dangerous to expose? Whatever the reason, this chapter of her past was sealed tight until now. And the next clue takes us somewhere unexpected, onto the water, into a world connected to Epstein, and right into the heart of the storm. When you follow a story like this, patterns matter, places matter, people matter, and in this case, one name becomes a key bridge: Karina Shuliak, Jeffrey Epstein's last known girlfriend. She stated publicly that the only time she flew on private planes or yachts were when she was with Epstein. Those trips weren't casual vacations. They were part of his private world, his inner circle, his controlled environment. Now, here's where Meghan enters the picture. In 2014, photographs surfaced of Meghan on a yacht, placing her in the same elite, exclusive lifestyle space that Shuliak described, a space closely tied to Epstein's world. Not a public cruise, not a charity event, a private yacht. And when you connect that to Meghan's alleged past relationship with Andrew, the picture becomes even more unsettling. Same timeline, same social circles, same power environment. This doesn't look like coincidence. It looks like proximity. And proximity matters, especially when a scandal later explodes and one person falls while the other walks untouched. If Andrew was destroyed because of his presence in that world, then Meghan being anywhere near that orbit raises the question: what did she know, and why isn't this ever discussed? The yacht is more than a photo. It's a doorway into a chapter of Meghan's life that was never explained, never questioned, and never addressed publicly. And that silence is where the real story begins, because the closer you look, the more it becomes clear. Meghan wasn't just standing near the storm. She was standing inside it. As Prince Andrew's scandal exploded, one name stood at the center of it all: Virginia Roberts. She was not a reporter, not a commentator, not an outsider. She was the woman whose allegations helped bring Andrew's world crashing down. And according to claims, Virginia didn't just want powerful men questioned. She allegedly wanted Meghan Markle called as a witness. Not because Meghan was a celebrity, not because she married Harry, but because, as the claim suggests, Meghan was considered a close past associate of Prince Andrew. That phrase carries weight. It means someone believed Meghan wasn't a stranger to Andrew's private world. It means she may have been present, aware, or at least nearby during parts of his life that later came under international scrutiny. The reasoning behind this alleged request was simple. If Meghan had a personal relationship with Andrew before Harry, she might have seen things, heard things, been around the environments others only whispered about. And here's the most unsettling part. If Meghan truly had nothing to do with that world, why would her name even be considered in the first place? Witnesses aren't chosen randomly. Witnesses are chosen because they might know something. But when the legal storm hit and the pressure mounted, Meghan was never called. Her name disappeared. Her connection was never brought up publicly again. It was as if someone erased that chapter of her life, and instead of answers, the world got silence. But silence doesn't erase history. Silence only buries it. And the deeper you go, the clearer it becomes that Meghan wasn't just dropped into royal life. She was already touching the edges of elite power before she ever met Prince Harry. Which brings us to the next turning point, how Meghan got into those circles in the first place. When Meghan moved to Toronto to film Suits, she wasn't yet a household name. She wasn't royal. She wasn't global. She was a working actress with ambition, but without access to the world's most powerful rooms. That changed fast. According to sources, something significant happened when she arrived. Marcus Anderson entered her life, a senior figure connected to Soho House, the private exclusive network known for high-profile members, secret events, and elite connections. Anderson didn't just meet Meghan, he allegedly recruited her. He introduced her to the highest levels of Toronto society. He opened doors most people never even see. Through him, she reportedly connected with influential figures, including Jessica Mulroney, and expanded into circles linked to New York's wealth and power. This wasn't random socializing. This was positioning. One introduction led to another. One circle led to the next. One network led to powerful access. By the time her name ever entered Harry's world, Meghan had already stepped into elite environments that traced toward royalty, wealth, and, according to the earlier claims, Prince Andrew's orbit. Her rise wasn't overnight. It was constructed. And the closer she got to power, the more her path began to intersect with names that would later become explosive. But here's where the story takes a darker turn, because according to sources, Harry wasn't Meghan's first royal focus. Someone else was. Someone older, someone already inside the palace, someone tied to Epstein, Prince Andrew. Before Harry ever entered the picture, sources claim Meghan had her eyes set on Prince Andrew, not as a mentor, not as a friend, but allegedly as a romantic and strategic target. This changes the story. It suggests Meghan wasn't just drifting through elite society. She was aiming upward, calculating, choosing, positioning herself for proximity to titles, status, and royal access. But standing between Meghan and Andrew was one woman, Sarah Ferguson. Fergie wasn't just Andrew's ex-wife. She was his gatekeeper, his long-standing ally, and a protector of his royal space. And according to the claim, Fergie blocked Meghan from getting close enough to Andrew to pursue anything further. That barrier forced a pivot, because if Meghan couldn't reach Andrew, she needed another path into the monarchy. And that's where fate, or strategy, shifted dramatically. Meghan didn't expect to end up with Harry. She didn't expect it to catch a prince who was young, popular, and positioned directly in the royal spotlight. But when the opportunity appeared, she took it. And once she had Harry's attention, she didn't let go. What began as an alleged plan to move toward Andrew suddenly turned into the biggest royal leap of the century. Meghan didn't just enter the royal family, she married into its heart. And that move would change everything, not just for her, but for the monarchy, for Harry, and for the secrets now hanging in the shadows. Because the next part of this story takes us into the fallout, the realization, the cover-up, the threat, and the one truth powerful enough to destroy it all. When Harry married Meghan, he believed he had found freedom, love, and a partner who stood outside the royal machine. He thought he was escaping the cold halls of the palace and entering a new life built on honesty and trust, but according to sources, that belief didn't last. As time passed, whispers began to reach him, quiet comments, old stories, hidden connections, mentions of Meghan's past linked to Prince Andrew long before Harry ever met her. At first, he refused to believe any of it. He defended her, he protected her, He cut himself off from the family who tried to warn him. But eventually something changed. According to claims, Harry didn't just hear the rumors, he finally accepted what he didn't want to face. He realized the royal family's warnings weren't jealousy, control, or cruelty. They were truth, and that truth allegedly hit him hard. Sources say Harry became disgusted, distant, and overwhelmed, barely able to look at Meghan without remembering the past she never disclosed. He felt trapped in California, far from his family, far from home, tied to a marriage now filled with questions. For Harry, this wasn't just a scandal, it was betrayal. Because if Meghan had a personal connection to Andrew and had once aimed for Andrew instead of him, then Harry wasn't chosen for love. He was chosen for usefulness. And that realization, according to the claims, shattered him. But while Harry crumbled privately, the palace was making decisions publicly, decisions that revealed something bigger was happening behind the scenes. You would expect the press to explode over Meghan's alleged past with Andrew. You would expect headlines, investigations, and nonstop coverage, especially after the Epstein scandal destroyed Andrew's reputation. But none of that happened. Instead, the palace and the media remained silent, completely silent. According to the claims, that silence wasn't accidental, it was strategic. The palace had three major fears. One, Harry's mental state. If the truth came out publicly, it could break him completely. The monarchy didn't want a prince collapsing in front of the world. Two, a second Epstein explosion. If Meghan was tied, even loosely, to the same orbit that took Andrew down, the monarchy could face a scandal far bigger than the first. Three, structural collapse. If the public discovered Meghan's alleged past connection to Andrew, the palace could look reckless, careless, and incompetent for letting her into the royal family in the first place. So instead of exposing the truth, they buried it. No statements, no questions, no investigation. Meghan was protected not because she was innocent, but because exposing her could burn the entire monarchy. And while the palace built a wall of silence, one person on the inside refused to stay quiet forever. A man with nothing left to lose. Prince Andrew. Imagine falling alone. Imagine watching your reputation destroyed, your title stripped, your future erased, all while someone who shared your world, your circles, and according to sources, your alleged personal history walked away untouched. That is Prince Andrew's reality. According to the claims, Andrew is furious, bitter, tired of being the only one punished, while Meghan remains protected. He allegedly feels he took the fall for a world she was also part of. And now sources say he is ready to talk. He is ready to leak everything, not out of justice, but out of resentment. And he isn't alone. Sources claim that Sarah Ferguson, Fergie herself, is aligned with him. Together, they allegedly hold knowledge about Meghan's past, her connection to Andrew, and the hidden chapters that the palace has kept quiet. For the first time, the danger doesn't come from the press. It comes from inside the royal family. A man silenced for years, a man with no future to protect, a man who could detonate the truth with a single statement. And the moment Andrew speaks even one sentence, the world will turn, because once he talks, silence can no longer protect Meghan. And that leads us to the final, most explosive point, the truth that could end everything. Every story has a breaking point. Every secret has a moment when it can no longer